Hey guys, first of all, don't mind the makeup. A little bit over here. Yesterday was Red, White, and Dead here in Seattle, which is like you dress up as a zombie, and then thousands of people meet and they walk around Seattle for a few hours, and it's like a world record thing. It's really cool. Um, that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about Avatar. Excuse me, The Last Airbender. After deliberating over it for 3 or 4 days, I've realized that saying and pointing out every single negative thing that was wrong with the movie in comparison to the series, or just wrong with the movie in general, isn't going to get me anywhere. I mean, at best, I'm going to have people watching my video going, yes, I agree. And that's just not good video material. So what I'm going to discuss um, is how critics and one website in specific, Racebending.com, have been claiming that this movie is racist, where the series was not racist, but this is, and they have so many different arguments of why it is racist. I think it's just a few thousand people, or at least it was when it opened. I don't know how many it is now. And they've been trying to boycott the film, and they were trying to get it removed from theaters. And so I'm going to be talking in defense of the movie, because though it's not a great flick, it's definitely not racist, and I know M. Night Shyamalan really put his heart into this. He just kind of had a very poor execution on it. So, one of their leading arguments as to why The Last Airbender is racist is because originally the four main characters, Zuko, Sokka, Aang, and Katara, were going to be played by white actors. And they thought that that was racist because every other character in the background, if you pay attention, was Asian of some descent. Apparently it's racist because the four main characters are white. And that makes it seem that the Asian actors who they could have gotten to play the roles just wouldn't have done a good job automatically. But really, when you look at the anime style, and this is a good point that Shyamalan brought up, the anime style, whether it's American anime like Avatar or Japanese anime, um, I'd say a good majority of most animes, their characters are very indistinguishable. I mean, sure, sometimes they can live in Japan, and obviously the voice actors are going to speak Japanese, they're going to have Japanese accents, but the actual facial characteristics, these characters are not distinguishable at all. And if they are, they look white. One show that comes to mind is Death Note. It takes place in Japan, but all of the main characters are very Caucasian looking, incredibly Caucasian looking, and without having really any Asian features whatsoever. And Avatar is the same way. These four tribes, air, water, fire, earth, are obviously different takes on actual Asian cultures in ancient and modern history today. But the characters, their facial structures are very blah. And I'm even talking about this with Katara and Sokka, because even though they're dark skinned, you really just can't tell, you wouldn't be able to tell what race they are if they were to be based off of something from real life. Because anime styles, that's just a plain slate face with the same eyes and all the characters, the same eye shape, just different colored and different skin tone. That's really the only difference you get with the show. Although Zuko and his culture are very clearly Chinese in the show. So I will give them that he is very apparently Chinese. Aang, though, is one of the whitest animated characters I've ever seen. Sure, his clothes and his culture and his beliefs matched Buddhism, but the kid looks white. He looks super white. So when you try to cast three white kids for Aang, Katara, and Sokka, I don't really see anything wrong with that. He's just trying to get people who look like their characters. Aang, you have to get a white kid. Zuko, you probably should have gotten a Chinese kid. But I guess he decided to change the whole Chinese firebending nation to Indian. But either way, probably should have gotten a Chinese kid. That doesn't make him racist, though. I'm just talking about what looks like their characters. And Katara and Sokka, I'm going to back this up even more because it's just such a big point that even though they're dark-skinned, they don't look Inuit or Native American or nomadic at all. Their clothes say yes, Their culture says yes, their beliefs say yes, their skin tone says yes, but themselves, their actual face and their facial structure has no distinguishable features whatsoever as to what culture they'd be from. So when you cast 3 white kids there, sure, it's not entirely accurate, but that doesn't make it fucking racist. M. Night Shyamalan is Indian. Why would he be racist against Asian cultures, especially Indian cultures? Originally, the guy playing Zuko was going to be Jesse McCartney. Yeah, I know. I'm not even kidding about that. So he would have been a white character, or a white actor playing an Indian character. So why would M. Night Shyamalan be racist against Asian people if he's casting a white person to play someone his own race? In the end, he ended up being Indian, but that was because of scheduling conflicts. And then, after the guy playing Zuko was changed from Jesse McCartney to Dave Patel, apparently the movie becomes even more racist, because then you have 3 white actors playing the good guys, Sokka, Katara, Aang, and 1 Asian actor playing the villain, Zuko. And though you obviously can't tell in the movie, and critics aren't going to be able to tell in the movie, throughout the series, Zuko was not a bad guy. I mean, he fights for the wrong side, and his beliefs are a little misconstrued, and his motives are pretty selfish, but not in a racist way that he wants to. He doesn't ever actually want to eliminate all the other races. The only thing he wants to do is regain his honor and gain the respect of his father. That's the whole purpose of his adventure in the show. And as the show goes on, he realizes that what he's doing is wrong, what the Fire Nation is doing is wrong, and he actually becomes a good guy. And through that, he is definitely the most developed character in the whole series, and becomes kind of the hero of the series to all of the viewers, because this show was originally directed at kids. And you get a racist nation that's trying to eliminate all the other races or enslave all the other races on the planet. And then you get this one kid who's in the racist nation, but then by the end of the series, he has a change of heart. It's telling the kids, hey, follow this guy. He's the good guy, and you're supposed to like him in the Fire Nation. He's the one who's right. He's not racist, so don't be racist, kids, okay? So the show is very obviously just the polar opposite of racism. It talks about racism. It shows ideas of racism, but the show is against racism. That's why it's showing these things. And the movie is the same way. The only problem is you're not going to have time to develop Zuko's character to be the good guy in one movie. And I guess I wouldn't expect the critics to know that if they haven't seen the series. Now in the sidebar, I'm going to have 4 links for you guys. I'm going to talk about those later, but one of them is an interview, a website's interview with M. Night Shyamalan, and they defend M. Night against the racist bashing of the critics and Racebending.com. And a good point that the website brings up is that although these characters are just ultra obviously based, or I should say these cultures are obviously based off of real life cultures, this is a fantasy series. This is a fantasy movie. These are not Inuits. These are not Buddhists. These are not Chinese or Indian people. These are firebenders, earthbenders, waterbenders, and airbenders. This is a fictional world with beliefs that are very obviously drawn and created from real-life cultures. And I believe that if you get an intelligent species that's going to develop anywhere in the universe, let's say that Avatar, the series, The Last Airbender, takes place on a different planet where humans spontaneously, were created there too, and these are all new cultures that formed over all new beliefs. When you get an intelligent race that becomes the dominant race on the planet, they're going to develop technology. They're going to advance mentally as well as physically. They're going to develop better healthcare, better systems of operating and controlling their people more publicly and more democratically. And something else you're going to develop is religion. Because a planet is just so vast that it's impossible to have all of the people on the planet believe one thing. So you're going to have different people developing very different ideas and prospects of what they think their purpose in life is. So in this fantasy world, these people simply developed religions that were very similar to the ones on Earth. Or I should say in our universe. I think I've covered most of what I want to say. There's some points that I know I'm leaving out and I'm probably going to regret not saying them later. But, the big picture here. This was a shitty movie. I'm not going to forgive M. Night for this because I love this series. It's a beautiful series with beautiful morals, and in the end it has a really just
Epic fight scene.
It has epic fight scenes. It's very powerful, not only emotionally, but in its beliefs and what's trying to teach the viewers, especially since it's directed at little kids. It's just a very awesome series. So, M. Night, you fucked up, because this is an amazing series that I'm partially in love with, I'd say. And I think someone described it pretty well, that he is genuinely in love with the series too, but something like Avatar is something that you just cannot make into a good movie, unless you make it 4 hours long. And not only was it way too short, but it seemed like halfway through the movie he realized, oh shit, this was kind of a bad idea, now I'm just going to make a mediocre movie and not even really put any effort into the rest of it. So M. Night, and another point about M. Night is that if he by chance sees this, you really need to stick with what you're good at. Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, I think the 3 best suspense movies I've ever seen in my life, and actually 3 of the most inspiring movies for me. Signs was actually the movie that told me, holy crap, I want to make movies for the rest of my life, because I've been doing this without realizing that I can be making a profit off of this. So, M. Night, you have been my inspiration for as long as I've had inspiration, and you really need to go back to what you're good at. Please, for your sake and for the sake of all your fans who are suffering through all this bullshit that you're producing, just go back. Another point that Evan brought up is that this is a piece of shit movie, and so calling it racist is just really adding insult to injury. Because I don't understand how you can be so fucking sensitive that a PG-rated movie based off of a kids show can get so many thousands of people upset that they actually want to boycott the film and get it removed from theaters. You guys are way too fucking sensitive. Okay? It's a goddamn movie. And M. Night is an Asian himself. He's not going to be racist against Asian people. He casted white people because anime styles are very blah, and you can't tell what race they are just by their facial structure. So he casted, I thought the guy who played Aang, a white kid, looked great. I don't know if they could have done a better job with that. Sokka, same thing. He looked great for the character. Zuko, again, he should have been Chinese, but for the fact that they changed the race to Indian, he was very well casted. Katara, no, not so much. I like Katara. So yeah, there are 4 links down below. I'd really like it if you guys feel the same about this movie, if you're passionate about it. Please check them out. One of them is Racebending.com, and I haven't really explored it too much, but apparently this is not the only movie that they're boycotting, or tried to boycott, because they're just overly sensitive pricks who hate film. The second link is M. Night Shyamalan's interview with a magazine that defends him against, or the website that defends him against the racist remarks. And then the third one is very interesting. It's a teenage kid who's a big fan of the series, and he asks the questions that we've had, like, why did you do this, why did you do that, and why did you change it this way? And also at the end he asks him what's his next movie going to be about, so if you're an M. Night fan, that's kind of interesting. And finally, for all of the people that were looking at this video with hope that I was just going to tear it apart, go to the guy with go to theguywithglasses.com, link down below. He just tears it apart, and there's a very good argument with the comment section. So, oh, I just realized the name changing, how they pronounced it wrong. All of the names were changed and pronounced differently because in the series, Aang.
Traditionally correct.
No, they're wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, that's what.
Ooh.
That's yeah. But they didn't, exactly. This is what I heard. I'm not going to say this is fact because this is just what I heard. I could have this backwards or flip flopped. Um, the the names in the original series, Aang, Sokka, Iroh, all of those traditional names in their cultures were pronounced wrong. Aang is supposed to be Ong, Iroh is supposed to be Iro. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Okay, yeah. And so, Racebending.com, the sensitive, overly protective fucks that they are, decided, hey, we're gonna sue the shit out of you because you're saying some fucking names wrong. Even though they didn't give a crap about when it was in the series. Oh no, it's a movie, more people are gonna see it, so let's force them to change the names. And so the way the names are pronounced in the movie is actually correct. Although Avatar, I don't understand what that was about. I think that was just the actress playing Katara being an idiot. So much to say, so much to watch. I hope you guys stuck through this video because it kind of drags. So please leave me your comments, whether they be about wanting to tear apart the movie, whether they be discussion about the racism, remarksracebending.com. Post it below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So, Avatar, if you're a fan of the series, don't go see it. It's as simple as that. You have anything you want to say?
Your face is trapped in the magic box!
Alright, bye guys.